Today, we're exploring an important historical question. How did the 1953 CIA-led coup in Iran lead to the 1979 revolution? And how did that event lead to decades of Middle Eastern conflict? To answer this, we must travel back to the early 1950s. Iran was at a crossroads, struggling with poverty, foreign domination, and internal turmoil. At the heart of this tension was Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, a passionate nationalist who, in 1951, boldly nationalized Iran's oil industry. According to historian Stephen Kinzer, in the book All the Shah's Men, Mossadegh saw British control over Iranian oil as exploitation, an injustice that deprived Iranians of their rightful wealth. The British government was enraged. Britain quickly retaliated with harsh economic sanctions, blocking Iran from selling its oil internationally.
More than 10% of the whole world's known reserves. And at Abadan is the world's largest oil refinery. Since
The American embassy in Tehran, dated February 23, 1951, described the crisis clearly by saying the Iranian government lacked the first requirement of sovereignty, the ability to rule effectively. It warned that frustration and poverty were driving Iranians toward radical solutions, including communism. The U.S. was concerned about the Cold War dynamics at the time and soon intervened. As the CIA's own historical account from Studies in Intelligence reveals, President Eisenhower authorized Operation Ajax in 1953, a covert plan to overthrow Mossadegh. According to Middle Eastern studies, America feared Iran would fall to communism if Mossadegh remained in power. Thus, CIA agents orchestrated a campaign of riots, bribed key figures, and spread propaganda, creating chaos throughout Iran. On August 19, 1953, violence broke out in Tehran. Paid mobs attacked Mossadegh supporters, and after intense street battles, Mossadegh was captured and removed from power. General Fazlollah Zahedi, a pro-Western figure, took his place. Radio Liberty describes this as a turning point, noting the coup ended Iran's first democratic experiment and installed a pro-American dictatorship under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. With Mossadegh imprisoned, the Shah gained total control. The International Journal of Middle East Studies emphasizes this led directly to the suppression of political freedoms. Zahedi's government, and later the Shah's regime, brutally silenced any opposition. According to Gasiorovsky, the author, an authoritarian regime was gradually consolidated in Iran with massive assistance from the United States. This repression eliminated moderate political voices and left room for radical groups, both communist and religious, to grow underground. The Shah's rule depended heavily on U.S. backing. The foreign relations documents clearly state that American aid flowed freely into Iran, strengthening the Shah's military and his feared secret police, SAVAK. The book, All the Shah's Men, shows the American-supported regime used terror and repression, leaving Iranians resentful of foreign interference. Fast forward to 1979. Decades of anger exploded into the Iranian Revolution. According to the International Journal of Middle East Studies, the regime replacing Mossadegh was a dictatorship that suppressed all forms of popular political activity, producing tensions that contributed greatly to the 1978 to 1979 Iranian Revolution. That revolution replaced the pro-American Shah with an angry anti-American Islamic Republic led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. But how did this lead to ongoing conflict in the Middle East? The Iranian Revolution drastically shifted the region's political landscape. Iran became openly hostile toward the U.S., fueling decades of conflict. According to Stephen Kinzer in the book All the Shah's Men, the 1979 revolution was a long-term effect of the increasing repression from the Shah, who came to power as a result of the coup. That Islamic revolution brought to power an anti-American regime. Iran's revolutionary government inspired radical Islamist movements across the region, significantly affecting countries like Lebanon, Iraq, and Afghanistan. In Iraq, Iran's revolution led to an 8-year war that claimed over 1 million lives, destabilizing the region. The U.S., trying to contain Iran, supported Iraq, intensifying anti-American feelings among Iranians and other Middle Eastern populations. Radical groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon emerged directly inspired by revolutionary Iran, changing the region's dynamics and leading to continued conflicts and proxy wars. Even today, the shadows of the 1953 coup linger. Radio Liberty notes, 60 years later, the coup continues to loom large in Iran's national psyche and remains a thorn in the country's relations with the West. The resentment rooted in that coup continues to complicate diplomatic efforts, nuclear negotiations, and regional peace processes. This history provides critical context for understanding why the Middle East remains so volatile. Mossadegh's removal, a decision made quickly in the Cold War context, had unforeseen consequences stretching far beyond Iran's borders. As the author of the book All the Shah's Men Kinzer notes, it is not far-fetched to draw a line from Operation Ajax through the Shah's repressive regime and the Islamic Revolution to the fireballs that engulfed the World Trade Center. So, when we ask how the 1953 CIA coup led to the 1979 revolution and subsequent Middle Eastern conflicts, we see a clear chain of cause and effect. Foreign interference fueled Iranian nationalism and anger. The coup created a brutal dictatorship, and repression strengthened radicalism, ending in decades of regional instability and violence. If we can learn anything from this, it's that interventions in the affairs of sovereign nations have lasting, often disastrous consequences. The lessons of 1953 remind us to carefully consider how today's foreign policies might affect future generations.